I'm on a quest to have a second healthy baby, and that means I'm not putting any toxins, any fragrances in my body, and that's where Caraway Home cookware and their Tupperware come into play. Right now, when you use my code TSFS at carawayhome.com, you get 10% off. I'm sure you're like, Sarah, what are you talking about? Well, Caraway products are non-toxic. That means they have no PFAs, PTFEs, those forever chemicals that are extremely hard to pronounce. And I just ordered their storage containers in navy. Oh, and hello, they don't have any toxic chemicals either. Don't believe me? Go and read their 5-star reviews. Over 65,000 people have rated them 5 stars. Visit carawayhome.com/TSFS to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive to Sarah Fraser Show listeners, so support my show and visit carawayhome.com/TSFS or use code TSFS at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Can I just ask you a question? I love that you're rocking a Benetton shirt. Do you remember 1998, 1999, early aughts? Like, Benetton was so hot. UK brand, right? I love that you're wearing this throwback.
Let me tell you something about Benetton, okay? First of all, I also love a throwback to Camp Beverly Hills, which you could only get in the U.S. right down the street from us at Fred Siegel in West Hollywood. So I have a lot of Camp Beverly Hills to rock for you too. Benetton, I am obsessed with. I have a lot of Benetton. When I went to Europe last, I bought it, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Go to the website. You can still get Benetton delivered to the house.
What?
I'm bringing Benetton back. I love Benetton. That and Camp Beverly Hills. Nostalgia, baby.
What was the clothing brand in the aughts? And it was like, do you FCK or something? Remember? It was like, was that Benetton? And they did like, remember? It wasn't fuck, but they
we had Esprit. Remember Esprit? We had Esprit, Tonserton, Naf. Did you ever rock a No Fear shirt, like when you were in 8th grade, 9th grade? Like, were you ever trying to fit in and rock the No Fear? No, but you had the collar popped and you had the Le Tigre. You had that Ralph Lauren polo with that little horse in every color. You had blue. You had light blue. You had every fucking color. But Benetton, I'm bringing back, baby. So thank you for noticing. Oh my God, I love a Benetton. What a throwback. We got Vanderpump Rules, season 10, episode 3 to discuss. Season 11, episode 3. It's okay, Sarah. You're off by a season. Don't say that. Don't say that. I mean, and you're going to get, I already know we're going to get to talk. Drugs. It's the IVF. Don't you guys come for me. Because people say all the time, it hurts my feelings. They always say you're misinformed and you get the information wrong. And it really hurts my feelings. Stop it. No, but they're really upset with both of us. James does not live near LAX. I don't care if James lives in your asshole. I do not want to live anywhere in LA where I am here today, where I hear the fucking planes taking off. And before we get into it, let me just tell you, I had to go back to New York for 4 days, flew out of Burbank, flew into Burbank. It is a game changer. It's also closer to my house in Hollywood. We won't talk about where you live. I get in trouble when I did. So when I buy my house near LAX, you're not coming to visit? Like, Sarah, you don't want to hear the airplanes as we lounge outside in my little 2x2 garden area? Like, what? No. Oh, okay. Anywhere but with airplanes taking off. But that Burbank airport, honey, I landed on Sunday night and was out of the airport in like 2 minutes, and I was home in like 13 minutes. Then I went to Mother Wolf for a drink. My friend Evan. High-end restaurant here, very hot spot here in LA. And I've realized this about Los Angeles. Stars only go out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. Friday and Saturday nights are not a big. The party starts Tuesday through Thursday here in La La Land. So, well, why Sunday night of the Super Bowl? Was it still not so easy to get a table? But we got one. Because that was the most watched Super Bowl in history. I think it was something like, 134 million people, like broke a record. It was a boring game at the beginning. Usher started slow, ended strong. And then the second half was like amazing.
And I know how much you love sports, and I'm here to talk sports.
Well, I'm here to talk about how this show opened with James storming out and Schwartzy. Schwartzy is this whole episode was the plight of Tom Schwartz. Tom Schwartz is in a really bad situation. He is caught in the middle, honey.
Do you think that was, for me, the overwhelming theme was sobriety and the turning point for Tom Sandoval? Tom Sandoval is also a victim in this. But tell me more about your take that you thought it was the plight of Tom Schwartz.
Well, the opening scene where he has he has two BFFs. Well, I mean, of course, Tom's his BFF, but that Jamesy, the white Kanye, he got to him and he is like, man, like, no, that wasn't. And then Tom is like, well, listen, man, I just told him like he fucked Dodie and he was wiping the cum off his dick with my shirt. And Schwartz is like, no, man, abort. This is like the wrong way to handle Jay. Like as soon as Schwartz heard Dodie, he was like, oh man, you fumbled the ball with my boy Jay. He was like, that is not like Tom, like you're trying to get back in with these people. I don't think bringing up, James fucking Kristen Doty when you basically like were dating her and breaking up with her was the way to handle this. No, I felt the episode started with your boy especially, Mr. Schwartz being in a very tight predicament between his BFF and the others.
It actually, I'm back on board for you. I did think because, the other big pivotal moment of this episode is where Tom Sandoval confesses to LVP that he has had suicidal thoughts when he promised her that if he ever thought that he would call her immediately because sadly she lost her brother to suicide. But now we hear in this emotional moment that he was so low that he was potentially suicidal. So it's interesting you say that about Schwartz, but now I'm sort of on your team. I mean, it was the plight of Schwartz because we also hear in this episode that Schwartz's brother is returned to rehab for the third time and is possibly suffering from cirrhosis of the liver from alcoholism. So my boy, I think Tom Schwartz is so sensitive. I think he's just the Gandhi of this group. I love him. I think he's the bridge. He's the peacemaker. He's trying to say, guys, can we move forward where Ariana seems to be living her best life? And they're not having it. They love to just kick on Tom Schwartz. And, according to some of his cast members, Tom Schwartz it's almost like his like fetish. Like he likes to be sort of verbally beat up a little bit and put down, like it kind of turns him on. So, yeah, I mean, there was scene after scene, right? Where he's trying to make good.
Yeah, it does turn. Well, that first scene, like after that, then he tells Tom, like, listen, I got some bad news, man. I'm really nervous to tell you this, but I have to leave. I have to go to emo night. Like, I'm so sorry. It's your birthday, man. So, like, just physically, he doesn't know where to be and what to do. Then he explains that even though Tom is a doucher, it's still his BFF, and he's not willing to look. They're going to be together forever. They're not going to part ways, but he was there for the birthday. And for everyone who was worried about how Tom Sandoval was going to like film, I mean, we have Billy Lee, we have, Jason, who you've met,
his
manager, the band's band manager. We have Kyle Chan. I mean, Tom is doing just fine. They're going to pull in any random person and give them. We hired an actress. Her name is Anne. Or, we gave her lines.
There's where we got some heat. Did you have people slide into your DMs? I had a couple of people slide into my DMs and they said, she is not an actress. We can promise you that. She is legitimately his assistant. So what are your thoughts?
All right, well, slide into my DMs so I can block you and be rude to me. No, you know what it is? If you are rude to me, if you're rude to me like a puss, like with your 2-inch dick, if you're rude to me, I guess I'm riled up today. If you're rude to me in my DMs, like if we've never exchanged anything and you're now in my DMs rude to me, you get blocked. If you want to be rude and leave a nasty comment, like disagreeing or whatever for the world to see, I'm okay with that. Leave a comment, leave a public comment on YouTube, leave a public comment on both Instagram accounts. I don't care. If you're like in the DMs and you got something to point out to me, it's just so easy to block. You know what I mean?
I should have saved the message.
So no one slipped into my DMs.
All right,
don't bother. Just leave a nasty public comment. If it goes like really low, I might probably block you, but I really don't care about the comments. Just, some people get blocked. Let me tell you something. There's no rule to who gets blocked. It depends on the emotions of the moment. But he said, even though he's a doucher, he is standing by his friend, and he went, and there was emo night, and Schena is living her best rock star life because Good as Gold is now being performed an emo version.
Yes.
And Schwartz missed her set. And Tom Sandoval is basically then talking about his birthday party. We flash back to that, and he is saying, thank God for Jason and Billy Lee and Kyle Chan, for all the people. I would stand by him if he were my friend. I already said that last time. I stand by my friends. This is when you find out who your friends are when you're kicked. And you're down like a dog.
That is true. That is true. And my grandmother always told me you have as many dear friends as you do thumbs. So just pick them wisely, because if you have two very, very loyal people to you as friends in your lifetime, you are very lucky, because most people will not be when the going gets tough. So
100. And let me tell you something. Don't know what my point was, but they won't be there on your deathbed. No. That's my saying.
I will, with all my children, though, because I want a Louis, so I will be there, and I will be David.
All right, you know what? Well, let me categorize the Louis. I'll take pictures, and
I want the Louis sandwich back. David. I know the morphine.
That's a good one.
I know the morphine is being turned up, but could you write on this note here that I can have the sandwich back?
All right, you want this? Let me tell you something. Can I just tell you something? That I was in Louis this weekend when I was in New York, and I saw, well, my guy is like coming in. Also, he was like, you don't realize. He's like, you and this one dermatologist are the only two people in this store who got, like, this was an all-out fight to get that shopper back. And he's like, there's only one other person in our store that got it. Everyone else we had to turn down. I said, you didn't have to get it from me, but our relationship, you would never. That's it. I literally said, I will never come to you again. I will find a new personal person. I said, this is the bag that will break our relationship.
David, I know.
Threats work. Go on.
I know they're getting ready to pull you off life support, and Ethan's here, and Sam's here, and Ramona's here, but just move your one finger if I can have that, Louis.
You can have the shopper bag.
Luann's here.
Luann gets a Louis. Speaking of which, we were going to see the Countess this Friday, and the Countess has rescheduled due to some family, stuff. So I just hope her mom is okay. I mean, Luann's mom is like, I can't even, like, amazing, like 93, I think, and just so youthful. And there's a reason Luann is keeping it together, So I hope everything's okay. But we'll go on March 22nd to see Lou at the Wiltern in LA. I'm still going to be here at that point.
I am very entertained by this season, yet I don't know what season we're on, but I am entertained by
this season. I thought last week you said you're done with the season of Vanderpump Rules and you hate it. Have you come around?
Now I like it. It's very enjoyable light viewing, It's very easy to view. You can go and make your oatmeal and come back and you haven't missed a thing. Now, after I made my oatmeal, I did come back into the scene at Tom Sandoval's birthday party, and I want to know what you think as the Bravo insider that you are. He's talking to Billy Lee, and Billy Lee is saying to him, have you been in touch with Raquel? Have you heard from Rachel? What's going on? And Tom confesses his love again. He's done this several times, that he was in love with her, and she will not return phone calls. He wants to make sure she's okay. Do we feel that this is sincere, or do we feel that this is Tom Sandoval realizing that the only maybe like redeeming thing that could make him like somewhat of a human being is to be in, to pursue this woman because I had to have this affair with her because I was so in love with her. Where did you stand in that moment?
I mean, look, I always have to go with my gut. People tell me I'm very cynical. Kyle and Mauricio break up. I, have go and take a shit because it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm like, of course they did. You're going to be shocked at this one. Without overthinking it, look, everyone love what is love, right? So do I believe Tom has narcissistic tendencies? Yes. Do I think he was in love with Raquel? I do. I really do.
Ooh,
I think that what is there not to love? You're 40, she's 28. She is, to me, very attractive. She just walked in 2 fashion shows in New York. She's at the Fashion Week. So when someone's like you see that woundedness and they look up to you with doe eyes, like you're the big rock star. I do think that Tom was in love. Now, whether this is an adult, healthy version of love is a whole nother story. I believe him. I don't think it's for sympathy. I think he really was upset she didn't call on the birthday, and he really was trying to reach out. And like, I mean, everyone comes for Raquel. You know what? From where I'm standing, this is like a powerful person that went and, I mean, hello, Shannon Bedore, hello, others. Like, she went and got help and was at the Meadows and now is really left the show where she could have made several $100,000, according to Lisa Vanderpump. I think he was really in love with her. I do.
She's got a top trending podcast, which I said, she launched, I think, a month or two ago. And I said, if in a year she is still in the top 200 overall podcasts, I will be out in a bikini in West Hollywood with David Yontef filming, saying, I apologize to Raquel. So we shall see.
I don't understand the podcast.
Show. Oh, you
don't? I don't understand. Anakin Koses. Here I go again telling people, remember last week Patti called, now we have Anakin Koses. Hold on. Give me 15 and I'll call you. Guys, it's not going to be 15. I really got to start picking these people up, right?
So the man who says he has zero friends, no, like he's got a new life.
Let me tell you, a lot of people slipped into DMs and they're like, why the fuck didn't you pick up Patti Stanger?
Well,
so now
I agree. That was the love of your life.
We could have just had Anakin Koses from Miami Housewives on. I'm on air.
Well, the only thing I want to hear from her is the Larsa Pippen breakup.
I could have picked you up.
Michael Jordan's son there. Which is, I'm going to say, I mean, if I were single, I said I'm on air.
I could have picked you up for a cameo. All right, I'm going to start picking up these people when they call.
Okay, so you do not understand Raquel's or Rachel's podcast, Going Rogue. Why don't you understand it? Because
I understand she's talking. It's not a knock. I understand she's talking about mental health and Vanderpump Rules, but eventually, she can't be talking about like Vanderpump Rules and what Tom did to her in 2 years on episode like 1,000. Can she? I mean, are we going to just be like, the fifth date I ever had with Tom, it just is reminding me now that he did this. I mean, is that, shade. It's no shade. I just don't understand it. That's all. You think she can just keep this going for a couple of years?
I think long, we're hearing from Tom Sandoval, that former assistant. They have a top podcast now. We signed an NDA, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Do they know that much? I mean, is that? But I mean, when it's a top show, you see, that's why you've seen all these podcasts pop up about, True Detective podcast and, the, look, I have a Sister Wives podcast. I mean, there's a reason people are curious about every little detail. And so, I think as long as the show is on, I might be eating crow and she may have a top podcast.
Okay. I mean, you and me both will be eating crow then.
So let's jump through some of these scenes because I'm also curious what you think. So Ariana and Katie sit down and do liquid IVs. The liquid IV just grosses me out. I know, I should do it because I get horrible hangovers. But
I've done it in the Hamptons this past summer. Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't know. Does it work? It I had the worst hangover and I've done it a couple times this summer in the Hamptons. I didn't see it working. That's just me. Didn't really work for me.
All right.
But yes.
So there you have it. Then, and my husband was watching this morning with me. He says that Tom Sandoval, he does feel, is playing the victim in this whole thing. He thinks the Billy Lee scene is to gain sympathy. My husband said he's very sympathetic to anyone having suicidal thoughts, but he thinks that, that Tom is very good at getting LVP on his side. And then we move into, because this is for the second half.
Closing that scene with first of all, I was like, wow, we're getting a lot of LVP this episode. That's a lot of LVP.
A lot of LVP.
LVP is let me show up and make, look, she's also the producer, right? So she knows what she's doing in this scene and he brings her flowers. But yeah, I mean, he said that he has had, I mean, I also love when she said, like, darling, I don't understand. And be a man. And like, and I also love Tom just yelling at Lisa, just like he doesn't fucking care. Like he's just like outraged. Or she's like, darling, like move out of the house and be a man. And he's like, no, you don't understand. And he's like, we already offered her money and I'm not leaving my house. And she's like, but be a gentleman. And he's like, it's my house too, girl. I love when he gets nasty with Lisa. But
well, then we also move into, because Nema Vand, famously of Shaws of Sunset, kind of takes over. Yes. He's like a thread for the second half of the episode.
Oh.
So what did you make of hearing Nema Vand's name again? I've actually had Nema Vand on my podcast. Have you interviewed Nema Vand?
And we have tried. We've tried at some point. I mean, I've had Gigi, which is kind of coming up, I guess. Mercedes and Tommy. We haven't had Nema. It's like I can get Mercedes and Gigi on this podcast, but not you, dude. Pass.
Okay, wow. I feel like this is the only time I've ever scooped Miss Yontef. But
it's not like we've tried so hard, but I mean we've tried. Nema Vand. So he dated Raquel back in the day, and now it comes out that this is why I think Tom like does have feelings for her, because he's like, listen, Schena, you didn't need to like, go in and like, give your like, like Nema, I guess, detail the sexual positions that Raquel liked and what they did in bed. And Tom just was very upset listening to all the hot sex that Nema and Raquel, that's some hot sex, right? That's hot, girl. No? Sarah's thinking about this. You don't think Nema's cute?
Smash, or is it a pass? It's a pass for me.
Really?
No.
I mean, out of the gentlemen that have been on Shaw's, if I compare him to Reza, and Adam and Mike, oh my God. I would take Nema over any of the gentlemen I just mentioned. Nema to me is the most attractive Shaw.
Okay, fair enough. I give him that crown. 100%. I give him that crown. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely correct.
So I wouldn't mind. I mean, an hour with Nema wouldn't be bad.
Do you think it was a betrayal for Schena, though, to have Nema on her podcast? They go into, to your point, great detail about the sex, and that Tom Sandoval had told Ariana, told Rachel, I'm in an open relationship with Ariana. And, what did you make of
Nema? Right. Nema is saying that Ariana said, Tom and I are open, which, oh no. Nema is saying that Raquel said, what's the big deal? Because Tom and Ariana are open.
Correct.
And Tom is like, what? That's a lie. But okay, well, as Tom said to Schena when he pulled her out in the back alley and was sitting there kissing her ass about her look from The Matrix or whatever the fuck it is, Y2K, he was like, I understand a podcast is for money. And I'm like, ding, that one, ding, 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 ding. Door number 2, ding, 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 ding. He's like, so I get it. So, I say here all the time to the rats, that's Scuddies. Why? I know you're in the corner, Tamara, having your Gouda, but why did you block me, girl? I called you a rat that scurries. It's not that big a deal. It's just a day at the office, darling. Sarah's making a face on YouTube.
We've made ongoing content about her being called a rat that scurries, and then when you look at her, you can't help but see that she's like rat-like features. I mean, it's not the most. I'm not sure if I would be like liking your posts and keeping you open to.
I didn't come up with the word Tamrat. All these wonderful listeners did. They started calling her Tamrat way before I think the damn microphone was even turned on. I just think I'm like, wow, how brilliant for all the nicknames that we like to give people. Tam Ra, and just add a T, rat. It's kind of brilliant. So I didn't make it up. But so I feel when Tom said, I understand a podcast is for money, I'm like, ding, 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 that one. Why can't we just separate that? She had Nema on as a on-brand guest, and he had some things to say about dating Miss Levis. Look, if Nema were on this podcast, I would have asked him about dating Raquel. I mean, I would have been like, maybe, I mean, I asked Harry Dubin who was better in bed, Sonia Morgan or Luann. So, I mean, that's a pretty low question to say about
I've been way lower. I just had a woman that sells her farts in a jar.
I heard about that.
And
I heard about
she
that.
talked about wiping her butthole with a rose petal and then putting it in the jar. I mean, I can go much lower.
That's just disgusting. Mine, they say I'm misogynistic. I'm misogynistic. I don't like women. Because I asked Harry.
No, that was because you dropped the C-bomb, but I didn't think that was a big deal.
Is that why?
A woman. You've never been misogynistic to me. Get over yourself. I mean, come on.
Seriously.
Last night on Vanderpump
It's the woke mob calling the woke mob.
Last night on Vanderpump Rules, they have a see you next Tuesday night. They have a cunt night. Like, give me a break. Nobody cares about that word. In every other country but ours, people are very stuffy here. We're from the Puritans.
Correct. All the Aussies and the Brits were cheering me on. They're like, our favorite word. I'm like, thank you, my people.
Everyone says bloody cunt everywhere you go and calls people
I thought I was misogynistic for asking that for Harry. But so yeah, I mean, I get Tom's point. Schena's saying, your friend committed suicide and, how are you? Or his friend passed away. I mean, I don't even know if it was suicide. And then is talking about a podcast. Listen, I'm Tom. Everyone's talking about you. So shenanigans, let it make a few dollars. You know what I mean? Let it make a few dollars. Good as gold is selling, but let the girl make a few dollars on the side. I didn't think it was, I mean, I get her also, as I always say, I didn't fucking say it. So, I mean, when Nema is saying all this, she's not saying much. I mean, she has said a lot, but yeah, I'm kind of team Schena on this one, but he does say the LVP, he thought of suicide, and she is very, very concerned.
I always think when people say that, you have to believe them. I mean, a lot of people had thoughts on that moment, certainly online. Was Tom using that as sympathy? Does he know how to work LVP? He obviously knows that's a trigger point for her. They had made this promise. I mean, a lot of people felt like that could potentially have been a very manipulative moment. That's a dangerous slope for me. You know what I mean? I think if somebody says that they were that low, and to be honest, I can imagine, because I mean, when you think about 2023, Sandoval was like the pop culture moment of 2023. That and probably Britney Spears' memoir. So it's like,
if you think about it,
that's
like
a huge pressure. Yeah.
Erica, I don't know. My friend Rachel, you could tell. When you have the entire world against you and you still live, I don't know. Good for Tom. But I agree with you. I didn't really take it. Look, if Tom is really a narcissist, I mean, do narcissists off themselves? I don't think, I just don't know enough about it. We'll have to call, but Tom is really into himself. But I don't know. I think I didn't really take that as a let me manipulate LVP moment, but I absolutely see. Like, I'm not a Tom apologist. I'm a nobody apologist. So I see how people are thinking but I just loved this scene between them because they have such history. And Tom ain't afraid of you, LVP. Like, he's going to just be like, Lisa, come on. And I just thought Lisa was sitting there being like, this is TV gold. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I can't watch without breaking the fourth wall in my mind and thinking like producer LVP. She could be over there fighting with Kyle and all these other people. Oh, you know what I did think? And not to interrupt you.
Yeah, please.
This is actually what went through my mind. I even wrote this down. I understand it. There are people that are not in my life that are so dead to me that no matter what happened to them, I wouldn't reach out. But the fact that Lisa lost her brother to suicide and Kyle lost Lorraine to suicide, her best friend, and this hasn't really brought LVP to reach out to Kyle. This friendship is completely done. I mean, I know that it's done, but to me, it's like, like when something happens in life, like I hate you, but your mother died, your son died. When it's something big and you have history, sometimes, now I don't really, but sometimes that's when you say, what is it with this person? Let's come back into each other's lives, right? And so I really truly thought this went through my mind of like, because Lisa's talking about her brother. I think we kind of just swept that under the rug, like during our HOBH. Remember, like, I don't know, it wasn't Like it wasn't like this kind of drew the point home to me, like, oh my God, yeah, that's right. Like I knew it, but I think I swept it under the rug with Rinna and everything else going on in Beverly Hills. And I'm like, yeah, it's a big fucking deal. And it's kind of like then Lorraine is a big deal. And like if that doesn't cause these two to come back together, stick a fork in it, this friendship is over. Go on.
Great points. Great points. A couple of other things, I wanted to just ask you about. So I did think there was an overwhelming theme of sobriety, right? We hear about Tom Schwartz's brother. Lala discusses, Tom Schwartz is now exploring sober curious. There's California sober, which is you don't drink alcohol, but you still smoke weed. I'm with Lala Kent and Elton John because Demi Lovato is apparently California sober. Lala and Elton say, no, that's not how it works. And if anybody that knows anyone in a program will tell you that's not, no. Of course, if you need antidepressants, yes, like that is like, yes. But I mean, you do not need marijuana to live, unless, of course, you have cancer. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But like, they're not using it as because I have cancer and a terminal illness, So anyhow, I appreciated Lala being like, that's not sober for me, but you do you if you're sober curious. But it was an ongoing theme. And my husband and I were watching and we were discussing, is this show still viable? Because it started out as they were all bartenders, for LVP, drinking, partying. They clearly have all cheated on their partners and vice versa. Is this show viable? As it seems as though they are becoming like all of us in our 40s. You just don't drink as much anymore. You don't party. You want to be home with your kids. Is this show viable as a sober, curious show?
These are some very good questions. Now, a couple of things that you have brought up here that require some responding to. First of all, hello, sir. I mean, I find it so funny that they choose sir for this establishment. We haven't seen sir in like a decade at this point, it seems. Like, oh yeah, that's how the show started. I know the drone is flying into Tom and the never to be open something about her, but nice to see a little sir action. Guys, when you come to LA and you go there in person, it ain't that big. This is also a fucking walking billboard for Vanderpump because she's doing some sir. Now we're at Pump, which would still be open according to her for the rent. Now we're talking about a cast trip for her new thing in Tahoe. And we have a Vanderpump Dogs. I mean, Elisa Vanderpump is like darling. Now, I know that I took 10,000 less this season and I'm only making $1 million, but you promised me product placement and we will do 4 restaurants and 4 stops this episode. That's what I thought. But Lala was on this show. She went viral. Google Lala Kent behind the velvet rope. I mean, it was in like Billboard magazine, Rolling Stone. It was viral because she did not have pleasant message for Miss Demi Lovato when Lala was behind the velvet rope. She had a few words for Miss Lovato and it went viral in every country. Google it. It's funny because you and I were talking about Sober Curious on this very show a few weeks ago. I'm sober curious myself. Now, I don't want to stop drinking. I had 2 martinis last night at the Thompson Hotel in Hollywood, but I am sober curious. Like it
about
does.
What? When?
What? When am I sober curious?
Yes.
Well, the nights that I'm home, I don't drink, and I do enjoy not drinking.
And that's like now 1 night a week, 2 nights a week, honey. That is sober curious. Oh my God. Look, I'm going to tell you the biggest lie in last night's episode is Lala going, oh, when you get sober, you lean out. I have to be sober for IVF. And let me tell you, I've put on weight. I'd like to know where this lean, I know, thank you. But that's why they're all on Ozempic, because I'm going to tell you, I've hardly drank. Okay, I could probably count on 2 hands the number of drinks I've had since January 1st. Honey, I am packing on the LBs. I mean, where is this lean out part? I'm not getting any skinnier. They all say that. My friend Gina Kirschenheiter from the RHOC, who I adore, who was on my show, says I lost all the weight from stopping. I just stopped drinking. And I'm like, God.
My father used to call it the vodka diet. Back in my day, when I was at the Regency, every night with the one, the only, Harry Dubin. And Harry, I don't know, Harry likes his libations. Let's just put it that way. I would have like I mean, a ton of drinks every night, and I never ate. I would be at that Regency with Harry at like 6 p.m. and we would drink and drink, and then I would go home and I would pass the fuck out, and I would wake up and I would be like, "Bitch, you didn't eat anything because you were there since 6." The vodka diet, I was so thin when I was a total raging every night at the Regency. So I agree with you. Alcohol to me does not fucking make you fat. When you get home and you order 5 orders of Chinese and 2 pizzas and then have McDonald's, that's my does it. I agree with you. Does it work as a sober curious show? Well, we have Schena who's not drinking. We have Schwartzy who's sober curious. We have our main man over here, Sandoval, the Scandoval, the Scumdoval. Tom Sandoval doesn't drink anymore. James is in and out. So we got Katie, Schena, and I guess Allie. Can we count Allie here? Does anyone care about Allie? We have Katie and we have Schena that drink now. Oh no, not even Schena. She just said she was. We have Katie. Is Katie the only drinker here?
Well, doesn't Ariana drink?
Ariana. Okay, Katie and Ariana. Sure. All right. So does it work as a sober curious show? Well, last night was still quite enjoyable, but I do think more happens. Man, those producers, we know what they like. They like libations.
Well,
this ain't gonna go over. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You think Vanderpump is in trouble because they're sober, huh?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a new fan. You guys are the OG fans. I mean, maybe as fans, we are aging with the show. I mean, the show has been on a decade nearly.
I really need to do soul searching. I really need to do soul searching because I stand by what I said last week. I don't know. A lot of people hate this show. They're like, I am so bored. I'm just listening to you and Sarah. I don't know why I want to stick pins and needles in my eyes when it comes to Housewives. And yet I still find this quite enjoyable. I don't know why. Is it because they're younger? Is it because I forget that Schena is the same age as Schena is older than Housewives. She's older than I think Bryn from New York. So I think, have I not adjusted with the times? And in my mind, Sheena's 22 and I mean, Tom Sandoval's in his 40s. They're older than actual Housewives. There's something about this. I don't know. I don't know why this doesn't make me want to fall asleep the same way most Housewife franchises do. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm in a really weird state.
I actually do enjoy it. Last week I found to be really boring, but I kind of always go through this with various reality shows I watch. Sister Wives too. It just ebbed and flowed all season for season 18. And even for the Tell All, which is their equivalent of a reunion. But I do have moments where I'm like, oh, this is really good, really, really good TV. And I think we're kind of waiting to see in this friend group, is there a way that everything is okay, considering they've been through long and short? I mean, I'm also waiting for Jax to return. I thought that was happening. I keep waiting for that in the previews.
I think Jax is only on for 1 episode, honey.
Okay.
I think it's episode 8, I believe it's episode 8, maybe 9, but episode 8, which is coming, I think, in mid to late March. And he's going to confront LVP, or she's going to confront him about, honey, you said it was your show. They're going to break the fourth wall. And then I'm hoping it's like when this show started and Schena walked from one scene to the next with Brandy. And the next thing you know, we weren't in Beverly Hills anymore. We were in Vanderpump Rules. I hope Jax gets in his car and drives away furious at LVP. And next thing you know, it's 9:01. Why has Vanderpump Rules not ended? And Jax goes home and says, honey, I'm home. And Brittany comes running down the stairs with Cruz. And she's like, well, that took you long enough. And he's like, oh, fix me a drink, babe. LVP is a bitch. And the next thing you know, cue the music for the Valley. I hope it's just one big continuous thing. And the first show doesn't even end. So I think you're really good to see Jax to spin off the Valley. And that's the end of Jax, really.
Look, I know we have to wrap up. So I did want to see, can we thank...
Wait, can I just tell you, I love Katie and Schena trying where Katie's like, the lights are on and somebody's home.
Oh, I know.
So let's give them some. I mean, listen, you guys tried this before. So and also we never talked about Tom Schwartz at Vanderpump Dogs and just opening up to Lisa.
That was a good
His
moment.
brother's going through a lot. And I made a note. I'd like to go to Vanderpump Dogs with you. I think I want to get some swag. You know, I love swag.
It's been a long time since I've been to Vanderpump Dogs, and I did enjoy that throwback. I mean,
do you know that I've never been?
Really? I mean,
where is it in WeHo? Like, where is it?
No, it's over on Melrose in probably between like Beverly
Hills,
like
mid city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stop by. She advertised Wolf in Lake Tahoe. Tom Schwartz, who you says likes to be abused, says he'll take the hate over the indifference. People are going to get upset with Ariana if she keeps just like, saying you're dead. I like that Schwartzy spoke up to her and said like,
you're not the
okay, yeah.
I agree. Well, I think I do enjoy watching this because I feel as though I understand Ariana's plight more. And if I were Ariana, I do think I would be completely where she's at, But to LVP's point, it does seem as though Ariana's moved on. She's had incredible money success. And we do know money doesn't buy you happiness. But most people don't get a break like this after being cheated on. As we've talked about many times, most people right now are finding out this morning that their husband of 8 years, who they now have 3 children with, has been carrying on an affair with somebody 23 years old while you've been holding down the house. And you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? How am I going to fight this man in court? That is a real crisis.
Even LVP said the punishment no longer fits the crime.
It doesn't. And I also think about this show. My other thought is this is like dumping on him, and maybe we need this season to just do that. But where does this show go once they don't have that to do? Because it doesn't fit the crime anymore. And I feel like what if they're not drinking? If we're not going to see a lot about Randall Emmett anymore, what are we going to see?
These are I was thinking that myself, look, LVP said that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. We'll keep bringing in Jason and Kyle Chandler. Tom is not going anywhere. I'm not knocking Ariana. I get it too. I would never speak to this person again. I completely get it. Look, Ariana says she's creating generational wealth for her family, which they've never had. So I don't see her turning down the money. I don't see her turning down the money. I predicted she wasn't going to come back for this season, that she outgrew the show and she was above it. But I agree with you.
She's smart. I'm glad she came back. It was the best move because there just aren't those TV gigs like there used to be. And
never, ever, ever, guys, ever, never leave. Lisa Rinna, thank you for blocking me because I'm going to say it again. You did not leave Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on your own accord. Give me a fucking break.
You think that email, they took it and ran? They were like, yes.
I think it's just all semantics. Okay. Give me a fucking break. I agree. You never leave a hit TV show. I don't care how fucking miserable you are because it could be 10 years. But I think I agree with you. Where do we go eventually after this season? To my point, same thing with Raquel's podcast. Look, if Raquel came back next season, now we have another season of this. But otherwise, right. I don't blame Ariana. I don't think she is going to forgive Tom ever. And maybe she'll never speak to him. But so what is going to be the story? What is the show? We let Monica Garcia go. Granted, we let her go because she scammed us, and God forbid we look bad as producers. But we said she couldn't interact with the others. And if everyone's icing you out, how is this going to work? We're going to be seeing Ariana pissed off, not wanting to talk to Tom tiptoeing. Hi, Ariana. I'm scared to talk to you. And this will get old, I think, after 10, 15 more episodes this season.
It's feeling a little dated now. And I know that they're sort of setting up for you really haven't sincerely apologized. And so we're getting ready for kind of maybe a big moment of apology, and maybe there's some forgiveness and this sincere apology. But yeah, I don't know. That's the harder thing, right? About getting older and everything and settling down with people is you're not having this incestuous, we're all hooking up with each other and new affairs are beginning. They've all kind of outgrown that. So it's going to be interesting.
Can we thank our sponsor? Wait, do you want to do one more thought?
The only other thing I was going to say is I like when people stick up. So I loved when Schwartzy stuck up and said, you're not the queen. But I also like when Tom Sandoval, like, dude, like, I love when they were in the back and Schena was like, listen, someone's got to give him tough love. And she's like, look, you have Schwartzy's name in your mouth. Schwartzy's mom has got it going on. You saw the show, although you probably left by that point. You're talking about Raquel in the show. You're taking the shirt off. Dude, it's not a good look. What are you doing? I mean, the show is selling out, Schena. So just like you make money with a podcast, he's making money. But I love that. And I love that she's like, a narcissist. And I love that he's like, well, tell Lala, yeah, she's the queen of the narcissists or whatever. Like, I love when they clap back. So like Tom is, apologizing to you, Schena, but he's not a doormat and he's going to put you in your place. I kind of like that. Should we talk about our sponsor, OneSkin?
Yes, baby. Are you using OneSkin? Because I am.
I am using OneSkin. And let me tell you, like, people, I tried to tell them, I even put it on my Instagram the other day. Everyone said, yes. First of all, you're getting 15% off with a code VELVET or with your code
TSFS. Yep. Use support both of our shows. In fact, do 2 orders. Do a TSFS.
I like that.
Do a code VELVET. I actually really use their skincare and I love it because it's fragrance free, which is very important. I've talked about this on our podcast and my own. Is if you're trying to get pregnant, fragrances, things that you smell from Bed Bath & Beyond, these really strong odors can actually interrupt your fertility hormones. So one of the things I love about OneSkin, they don't have that. They're fragrance-free. They also have their OS01 peptide, which is their specific scientific formula that goes below skin level and actually gets those zombie cells. Those are the ones that create the wrinkles, the smile lines. They ease those out at the base, where most of your products are just dealing with topical, right? They put a lot of moisture, they plump you up a bit, you look less wrinkled. This actually works to slow the signs of aging. It's an incredible product. People should check it out and read their reviews. They have amazing 5-star reviews, by the way. So
I truly use it as well. I do all the fertility and smells good and blah, blah, blah. That's great. We have different. What you said is correct.
Yes.
People, all that crap, but lovely stuff. But people don't realize what you miss because the OS1 peptide, blah, 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 scientists, it reverses the biological age of the cell. That is what, so I'm a little more superficial than you. You're trying to have a child, keep it, but it's not like top right. It's targeting the why. Why do you look tired? So it's reversed. So all I know is when I first heard of OneSkin, I was like, I don't really care about all this science and everything. All I hear is it reverses the biological age of the cell. And I'm like, does that mean it's going to make me look younger? And they're like, that's pretty much what it means. And it completely works. So I have to tell you, I love it all, but that is why I like it, because honey, this youthful glow is thanks to OneSkin. So yes, go to.
I was going to wrap it up for us and say OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. You can get started today with 15% off using code VELVET or code TSFS. Better yet, both at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with the promo codes TSFS and VELVET. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about it. Please mention Behind the Velvet Rope or The Sarah Fraser Show. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin.
It's the only skincare I use now. I
really love it too. Yeah, I actually really love it.
I truly love it.
It's really good, actually.
The packaging is great and all that, but it actually is good. It actually really does work, and so keep sending it along, OneSkin.
All right, my love. I've got some good. I've got some intense and amazing big time interviews potentially coming up on TSFS, God. And I got to go listen to Kato Kalin, which is you're just the best of the best. I've learned from the best.
One of my favorites ever. I don't know. I just love, I'm sorry. A hell of a job. If we can't go back to the 90s and the white Bronco and just love him or hate him. And by the way, Kato's the nicest guy possible. But this to me is for a pop culture iconography moment, Kato to me is huge. That's just me. I'm going to take a lap.
I
What you need to take a lap. What I love so much about your interviews is you really intersect like incredible pop culture moments, but also with what was like happening in their lives, which was also mind blowing. I mean, a week before Kato Kaelin is wrapped up in O.J. Simpson murder, investigation, he auditioned for Dumb and Dumber. He was almost cast as Jeff Daniels. They had brought him in for multiple parts. And, it's so interesting. And I love, and then we'll get done because I could blow up your ass forever. But anyway, what I love, so he didn't get that role, went to Jeff Daniels. And part of it was probably due to this huge OJ explosion, right? But then he also says, be careful in life what you wish for, because years ago in a yearbook or whatever, he'd wrote, going to be the most famous man for doing the least. And it sort of ended up becoming true. Like he never made it as an actor. And he, in fact, became uber famous from living in the guest house, doing nothing really, hanging at the pool at OJ's. And then was brought in. And like he said, that trial after he walked out, like he was synonymous with that forever. That was the fame for
forever.
Doing nothing, for really doing, really being just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I love Kato. And he says, I told the truth. And that was like sort of my friendship. Everything was over with OJ because OJ, he says there was a famous moment. The detectives came in to the beautiful Brentwood mansion. And they were there with Kato and OJ, and they said, where were you guys last night? And OJ said, we were together. We were hanging out. And Kato was like, no, we weren't. We weren't. And it's just, it's mind blowing. It is, every detail is so good. Mr. Yontef, take a lap. I learned so much from you, and I can't even imagine. I mean, and just writing that out, now I got to go back to my yearbook and look at what the fuck I wrote. Because he literally said, for better or worse, I manifested.
And the thing is, the thing about fame is like, okay, but eventually it doesn't pay the bills. So now it's like, first of all, girl, you need to listen to a part 2. There's 2 parts to Kate. Part 2 is out right the day after. But of course there's a part 2 to Kato Kaelin, darling, of course. But he like pulled up in his little car. I was literally walking and he's like texting me, and then the phone's, he's like, where do I park, dude? And I'm like, I don't fucking drive. Then I see him. I'm like, you're standing right in front of me. He's like, get in the car. Show me where to park. And I'm like, let's go on a ride, Kato. I don't know. To me, it's like, I hope everyone enjoys all the housewife interviews I do, but this is the type of person that gets me out of bed in the mornings.
To your point, right? Kato Kaelin in the 90s, I mean, the
huge.
level of fame was like Michael Jackson level everywhere you went.
Yeah.
But yet it never, like he said, I became famous for doing the least. And you're right. It never turned into fortunes that I'm sure, everyone, what's the joy and the curse of Hollywood, right? You come out here, you think you're going to make it big, and then all these years, just no money, really. I don't know. Maybe he is very wealthy. I don't know, but it didn't.
I think he's available for work if anyone has any. And he's like literally, I loved him. He was like truly the nicest guy. Like love. If only the housewives could be that nice during the interview process. My life would be easier.
Wow.
But thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for blowing up, because that one is someone I'm excited about.
I fall in love with all of your interviews, just time after time after time. And
I'm excited for all of your big interviews coming up.
I've got a good one. I've got a big one. I've got a big one that I'm gonna force you to listen to and talk about on your show, because it's gonna be huge.
Hopefully it's a good one. I'm excited. I'll listen for you.
It's a shitty one. It's a really shitty one.
No, it's gonna be a good one. The way you're talking about it, I can tell something.
It's a good one. It's like my normal shitty ones that you've tuned into.
No, I mean, like, hopefully it's like somebody, like I'll learn about the sister wives.
Not like your usual guest that I don't
know. No, I mean, like, you get into the sister wives, the 1,000 pounders, the 90 days. I mean,
do not offend Tyree Millette from 90 Day Fiancé Single Life. My fans are going to be very upset with you. Okay, thank you.
No, I mean, I enjoy that world. It loses me. It's like The Bachelor. I mean, the daters. There's 8,000. This 90-day, this and that, and brides.
There's too many. They really have. They've jumped the shark. But
so I'm all for it. It goes in one ear and like it gets blurred, the names. I know Tammy Sladen, and I'm learning some of the names from you.
I do adore. Oh, she's going to be a huge star, by the way. She's getting ready to model with Rachel in New York Fashion Week. Really? I think they're going to put Tammy Sladen. Yeah, Tammy Sladen's got a new manager. She renegotiated.
Is she the one who lost all that weight?
Yeah.
She was the 700 and something pound sister, and now she's like under 300. Her husband just died of morbid obesity this summer. She's like, now she's dating a woman. She just came out as a lesbian.
Well, she came out that.
As pansexual, but now she's got a new girlfriend. Actually, if you want to go listen on the Sarah Fraser show, I will tell you today who the woman is that she's dating. But yeah, she's under new management, and I think you're going to see some crossover to mainstream with her. People are very into her.
You feel good things for Miss Slayton.
Yeah, so stay tuned. I've got a big one. And
all right, I'm like,
Mr. Yontef will be cheering me on.
I will be cheering you on. I'll listen. I'll learn about the franchise and keep us posted, Sarah.
Happiest of Valentine's Day weeks.
Valentine's week. Happy to you too.
Do you have a Valentine or what are you doing?
I went out for drinks last night. Are you doing anything for Valentine's Day? No, I mean, I just went out, last year we had Patti Stanger on for Valentine's Day. It didn't happen. Oh, speaking of which, remember I told you Patti really has connected me.
Who is it?
Here's the thing. Patti believes in really the old school way. So it's someone who joined her club. So I assume that they have money because they paid her exorbitant fee, but she's worth it, of course. No picture. There's no pictures with Patti. He is in New York. But comes to LA. And I'm like, well, I live between both. So I don't really care where you live. But I've been texting him can you imagine if I actually dated someone and it was fixed up from Patti? That would just be a strange turn of events, considering I was on her damn show 10 years ago.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, I want to see him. I have to let you go, though. I really do.
Hopefully you and the husband have a good Valentine's Day.
We did. I have an incredible husband who is so lovely and gave me a cake in the morning. I love cake, and we'd had hearts and Valentines and a beautiful card about my wife, and I have a gorgeous son, and I'm lucky beyond belief. So I have a very good man that I'm grateful for, and he watched Vanderpump Rules with me. We're not the Chanel earrings are not this year because I'm spending $26,000 to have a baby, so that's the gift.
You know what? This year is I have these
things are a little tighter. Things are a little tighter.
I'm like, listen, you know what? I'm a normal person. I've realized I'm not Madonna. I'm not Taylor Swift.
That's it. Now you're realizing.
This year, honey, it's
a little late.
It is a little late. We have some homes over here, but this person here, reality has set in. So I am right there with you. This is not the year for my own Chanel earrings. For myself, I'm getting myself sushi later for Valentine's Day. No gift for myself this year. No gift. I'm not getting myself a Louis. I'm having a dry February. I told everyone I was going to do it. I'm doing a dry February. Sober Curious with Louis. Okay. No purchases this month.
I have to let you go. All right. I love you. Okay. I got to talk to you later. Okay. Bye. Bye.